Hi, I'm 𝗦𝗛𝗥𝗘, Chair of Peter's Ponderings Ministry. This is a ministry initiated by volunteers. We hope to bring biblical and inspirational perspective on life. Our vision is to instill courage, provoke thinking, and extend God's love in our world. If you have been blessed, we encourage you to sow into this ministry so that we can bless more people. Below are the ways that you can give.
We are constantly evaluating leaders. We make judgments on their decisions, persona, and behavior. We decide if we will follow them, believe them, and trust them. Frequently, a leader stands or falls in our perception merely on a statement made or an action taken. We may judge too harshly, or our estimation may be entirely wrong. Consequently, a leader may then be dismissed summarily from our minds and hearts. In the light of this, there are not many leaders who have not been misunderstood or misjudged. Notwithstanding, leaders have to be held accountable if they are to lead effectively and with integrity. Here are 3 criteria I have found useful in assessing those in positions of authority. Firstly, intentions. Actions spring from intentions. When purpose is determined, the actions that follow make better sense. However, it is more common that we identify a leader's motivations by his or her behavior. It is not so easy to establish real intent from isolated actions. We always attribute the worst possible intentions to others' actions, but exonerate ourselves in similar situations. So, when others arrive late for an appointment, we blame them for being undisciplined and inconsiderate. But when we come late, we mitigate ourselves, blaming the traffic jam or some exigency. We blame our circumstances to justify our less than ideal behavior, but immediately conclude that malevolent intentions drive others' bad conduct. Effectually, most of our judgments are based on double standards, the stricter one for others and the easier one for ourselves. No wonder Jesus asks, "Why do you look at the speck of sawdust in your brother's eye and pay no attention to the plank in your own eye?" Discerning the motivations of leaders is a risky endeavor when we are attempting to conclude from actions observed at a distance. It seems to me that before we evaluate others, we need to ascertain our own intentions in disparaging them. Intentions in others can only be surmised after observing a series of consistent actions over a period of time. Even then, we may not be totally certain. If possible, it is best to speak to the leader to clarify intentions. Face-to-face interactions are best to answer queries and doubts. Our best intentions can be misconstrued and our actions can be misinterpreted. When a leader is wrongly judged, it is not only a personal tragedy, but the organization is at risk of dissolution. Leaders will always be criticized because not everyone can agree with all their decisions all the time. When criticisms mount against me, I found it necessary to check my motives and intentions for my actions. I'm surprised how frequently I have only mixed motives at best. Criticisms then become a reality check for me. Secondly, expressions. Leaders' expressions impact others. The more authority the leader has, the more compounded the impact of his expressions will be. 𝗦𝗛𝗔𝗥𝗘 and Posner found in their research that it is not enough for a leader to have a dream about the future. A leader must be able to communicate the vision in ways that encourage us to sign on for the duration. The leadership voice is an invitation to trust the leader. Terry Pearce asserts, as leaders speak to us, we are no longer listening for some information or images to believe. We are probing, consciously or unconsciously, for someone to trust. Leaders speak to persuade and convince. They express their concerns and feelings for people and agendas that they care about. They are always searching for commitment from followers. Consequently, leaders are judged by what they say and how they express themselves. Leaders not only express verbally, they also communicate through their emotions. 𝗦𝗛𝗥𝗘 and Posner note that leading with positive emotions is absolutely essential to moving people upward and forward. Emotions are conveyed through words, demeanor, and actions. When they are appropriately expressed, they can inspire optimal performance in members of the organization. Leaders will be judged by the consistency between their expressions and their perceived intentions. Where there is consistency, leaders are trusted and are rewarded with their followers' participation and commitment. Leadership speaks to a fundamental human need for meaning and purpose. When a leader is trusted, followers sense a purposeful direction in their lives by sharing the leader's vision. Therefore, in assessing a leader's expressions, people are discerning if the leader is credible. They are asking if the leader practices what he preaches, if she walks her talk, if he will put his money where his mouth is, if she will follow through on her promises. When the leader is judged to be credible, the follower trusts implicitly and remain loyal explicitly. Thirdly, extensions. In evaluating leaders, we inevitably ask, what is he or she building? We are asking the questions of legacy and achievement. These are extensions of the leader. Max De Pree defines legacy as the cumulative informal record of how close we came to the person we intended to be. He asserts that a legacy has a deeper and more enduring and more substantial place in the lives of organizations than meeting goals. Every person of influence leaves a legacy. Mother Teresa left a legacy of compassion for the indigent and the dying, which resulted in the formation of the Missionaries of Charity, a Roman Catholic order. She is evaluated on the basis of what she has established, which is an extension of herself. We appraise a leader's success by her achievements. It is easier to identify an edifice with a leader than intangible accomplishments. We think of the Methodist Church when we think of John and Charles Wesley. We readily associate Saddleback Church with Rick Warren and Billy Graham with the huge crowds at evangelistic gatherings. But we quickly forget a leader's achievements when there is a moral failure. We forget Jim Bakker's sterling success in the 80s after his moral flaws were uncovered. In his weekly column, Justice Paul E. Pfeiffer of the Ohio Supreme Court notes, at the height of its popularity, his, that is Jim Bakker's, show, the most popular religious television program of all time, drew more viewers than Johnny Carson's Tonight Show. But by decade's end, it all came crashing down. The wealth, the influence, the popularity. For the Reverend Jim Bakker resigned from his ministry after admitting to an extramarital affair and a money scandal. 2 years later, he was convicted for defrauding his followers of more than $150 million. We determine a leader's success by his public achievements, but judge his failure by a personal moral lapse. Both legacy and achievement are extensions of the person. People discern if a leader's accomplishments are an extension of his ego or love for people and for God. They determine what the achievements, the edifices, and the organizations stand for, what dimensions of the leader they represent and signify. After all, as 𝗬𝐮𝐩𝐸 and Posner conclude in their classic tome, leadership is not an affair of the head. Leadership is an affair of the heart. These three dimensions, intentions, expressions, and extensions, are criteria we use to judge other leaders, and the same ones by which we will be evaluated. While leaders cannot avoid harsh, unfair, and wrongful judgments, we can all learn to be more discerning in appraising people who desire to make a difference in their world.
Thank you for watching this short video. We hope you have been blessed. This is a question for this session for you to ponder and to discuss with your group.